Test, test, 1, 2. Hey folks, we're live. It's Monday. Hope you've all had a good weekend. Enjoy your Monday so far. A little bit of a change to the schedule if you're on my Discord, you already know. But for the next couple of weeks at least, our friends Jeffrey and Lisa are moving house. So we won't be doing Stardew with them on Mondays for the next couple of weeks. So as we didn't stream on Friday, I was taking a day off on Friday, so we didn't stream on Friday. So let's do some game dev on today's stream rather than doing it last week. So we'll switch over to the main screen and we'll get going with the game. That is the code. Let's knock the code down. See, it's not responding. That's a good start, isn't it? Can we close that? Switch back to my face. It's always a good start, isn't it? Right, let's try opening it again. Hey Paula, how's it going? Hey dealer. Hello, hello. Hope you're all having a good Monday. Just loading up Visual Studio. This seems to be working now. As I just said, as Jeffrey and Lisa are moving house, our usual schedule is a little ignored for the moment. It will return by July. First stream in July, we'll be back to normal. But for June, it's a little bit of a change. But you're doing good, Paula. Glad to hear. Right, let's swap on back over. You hit chest today, dear. Nice. Yeah, last time I really worked the chest muscles, it was aching right across here for most of the week. So I've not done anything that hard since. But after I'm back home next week, because I'm going to be away for a week, so there'll be no stream on Wednesday or Friday. But after I'm back, I'll get back in the gym, get back into working it out again. Right. So, if you've been on my Friday streams, you'll know. So we've been working on this silly old game. So what I was doing last time was working out how to generate a brick wall through code and then have it fall apart. So we'll continue that today. I'm going to buy a dumbbell and barbell kit soon for economic purposes. Yeah, I've thought about it. I don't have the space. However, my brother does have the space. He has his own gym in his spare room. And he has invited me over there to kind of work out in his gym. So that's an option for me at some point. You know, just walk around to his place, have a little bit of workout in his home gym, and then come home. So it saves me having to buy all the stuff. And he has all the space. He's got the proper foam matting and everything. So you can put the weights down a bit more easier. Right, let's run this game. Let's remind ourselves how this looks. Cool, so we have all the bricks. All the bricks just suddenly appear and fall down, which is what we wanted. So let's move where the bricks generate. So we want to move this over a little bit, so we can see a little bit more what's going on. So we need to work out the size of the bricks, the relative size of the brick, and we can make sure we generate enough bricks to fill the wall. They're far from the city, and transport is a pain to go to the gym. Ooh. Yeah, definitely. If you have the space for it, working out at home is going to be far cheaper and far less time consuming because you're not traveling, you're not costing you to get there. Like for me, It's not too bad. The gym I go to at the moment is at the bottom of town. I'm at the top of town, so I have to kind of cross over town to get there. And it's about, I'd say it's about about a 10-minute drive, so it's not too bad. But it's contending with all the traffic and then parking up and then paying for parking. And then making sure you're out of the gym before your parking expires. So if I had a home gym, that'd be fantastic. 55 kilo for less than 100 Great British pounds is great. It certainly is. You think how much a gym membership or a pay-as-you-go at the gym would cost you? Plus the travel costs and the time and all that. Certainly works out quite economic, as you say. So now we've moved that, let's just have a quick look how this looks. So I love how it falls. It falls there. So I'm thinking it's falling up this front face here. So the cube has castle crumble. I'm sure that sounds like it tastes nice, but not in this case. So the castle crumble code. Let's find castle crumble. Ah, got it open. Awesome. So we're going to want to work out the size. Oh, I've not. Can we get it to pick it up? There it is. I want to be able to show you folks the code. Right, so everything above here is just picking out how big the cube is, which is fine. So there, that's our starting numbers. So everything above that, don't need to worry about. Down here is the meaty part of the code. This section here. So we're scaling stuff here. I don't think the scaling needs to change because I think the scale's working, so it's reducing the object down. We probably don't need to make it 95%. We could make that 100. Tell you what, let's make a copy of that. Actually, keep forgetting I can do this. There we go. Make a copy. Comment out the original. And rather than make this 95%, let's make it 100%. Now 0.05, was that just for making it flat? I don't think we need to make it flat anymore. So let's make that 1 as well. Divide by height. So we've got width, height. There needs to be a depth, really, don't we? So where's width and height coming into this? So we need to make a depth as well. So public float depth. That is the that's the debug value because that's not used. Well, I suppose it is used. It's not actually a debug value in that case then. If these are actually being used to calculate stuff. We do need them even if everything else disappears. So they're not debug values, they're actual values that we need. Let's copy that. Let's change height here to depth, and it is the Z axis. So we're picking up the depth of the object, which is the Z. So in theory it should be 1 divided by depth. And if it's a cube, then height, width and depth should all be the same number. But we can't guarantee that. Because it might not be a cube, it might be more of a oblong thing. Never assume these things. So let's save the main project. Let's run the code again, see if it makes any difference. Ah, look at that. The bricks actually have enough substance that they sit on top of each other now. Which is good. It's good that the bricks themselves will sit. But I need them closer together. Because they're 1 in-game meter spacing. So the cool thing is with Unity, 1 Unity unit is 1 real world meter. So it's a 1-to-1 from Unity units to real world meters. So these bricks are spaced 1 meter apart from the left hand edge. So the left hand edge of that brick is 1 meter away from the left hand edge of that brick. So what I do need to do is find out how long the bricks are. Find the dimensions of the bricks basically. And then consider that when we're cycling through. So the width. So we're taking the width as how many Unity units wide the cube is, how high it is, and how deep it is. But we're not wanting to cycle through that many times. We want to cycle through as many times as would fit bricks into that space. So we need a new number here. So rather than using a width, we need so is it hit square I'm using there? Shouldn't really be hit square, it should be something a bit more universal. So brick holder prefabs, brick holder. So brick holder is a 1-to-1-to-1. Doesn't really tell us that, but the brick itself is what we really want. So we're going to want take the dimensions of the brick within the brick holder, because the brick holder is at a 1-to-1 scale, so we can't take it by that. Can we take it by... We want to measure the mesh really, don't we? And we can measure the mesh. So this has a mesh and we can't really measure that mesh, can we? Unless we put a bit, we could give it a bit of code that will expose these numbers. So not here, but in the brick holder, we can give the brick holder some code, and the brick holder will then tell the spawner code its dimensions. It feels like it's a bit convoluted, but might be the way to do it. Might be the way to do it. So I'm going to put my fan on because it's getting a little warm in here. It's not particularly warm at the moment outside, but it certainly warms up inside here. Ah, much better. Right, so probably going to need a little bit of code that exposes its container values. Now if I want to make this code universal, it means anything I put in there would have to have that code. But then am I only building this as a one-off thing? Probably going to be building it as a one-off thing really. In which case I even need the code because I write it straight in. Let's add a mesh to this. I don't want a mesh collider really, do I? Mesh renderer. Because the brick itself has a box collider, which is the size of the box. There's a rigid body, so this has all the properties to it. And that is the brick. So it's your regular looking brick. It's really those numbers there I want. Okay, let's we'll add a bit of code, work it out through the code, and then see if we can make it a bit more efficient. We'll do it that way. We'll do it the long way, and then we'll look at the more efficient way. So this is call it brick brick holder values. Let's go to the prefabs. Let's go to back to the scripts. Brick holder. Let's drag that into there. So we want to expose the values of the child object. So let's go to brick holder. I suppose it's on start. They probably even need to start because it's just something that gets called. So it's going to be a public oh. I suppose you can probably return the values. Hey, David does game dev. How's it going? Hello, hello. We hope you're having a good Monday. I love that name now. I'm assuming your name is David and you do game dev. What kind of game dev do you go up to? Let's get. We want to return a float, I suppose. So we want a value there. Yeah, awesome. Let's call this a get child x 2D. Nice. I thought about doing 2D, but I thought, you know what? Let's just jump straight into 3D. I like the idea of modeling stuff. Let's set a float up. Float x. Return x. How are your Blender courses going, by the way? They're not. I haven't had time to watch any of the Blender courses, unfortunately. But hopefully, once I'm back, I should be able to get on to that. Okay. Put them on your phone and listen to them while you're sleeping. Yeah. I suppose. Whoops. Terribly sorry about that. I kicked the microphone. Rip headphone users. The thing is, a lot of it says, oh, just click here, do that, and then just give this a go. And if it's saying that, I can't really apply it to my knowledge. So it's a very much a doing kind of activity. So, well, click this and do that, drag this over there. Now you give it a go and see how you feel with it. So it's not gonna, unfortunately, it's not gonna be something I can passively learn. It's gonna be something I have to sit there, make a thing. I've memorized the V3 Blender UI. Oh, nice. See, I'll probably have to do that. Like, if I understood a basic level of Blender, and then listening to a course, I could go, okay, I can visualize what they're doing. But as it is, I need to at least do the basic Blender course stuff first, and then I can start listening to further stuff and pick it up. But we'll get there. I actually watched a Blender video last night. Yeah. And put that on for a little bit. Just kind of lay back, chilled, because I have a projector that projects onto my ceiling. So I just put Blender videos on and lay back and watch them. So I can still see what they're up to. And go, okay. That doesn't seem too hard. I just need to sit at the computer and follow along with it. Right, let's return the Y. So that should really be a capital Y, shouldn't it? Make life a little bit easier. Oh, good job that makes the music. I'm assuming is not coming through too loud for you folks because the volume The volume is not showing very high, but the mix I'm listening to at the moment is it's a little bit choppy. I'm guessing the vinyl I used was a little bit scratched. It's a shame. I hate when put out great tunes on vinyl but they're scratched. Right, let's make the last dimension. So get child Z. Float Z equals not F. Return Z. Right, so that gives us the ability to easily grab the values of any object within as a child of this object. Just need to put in the code to grab the object now. So now the easiest thing would be to make the child object a passable object rather than just looking up the child object. But to make it more universal and easy to set up, let's grab the child object. I might have to do a quick looky up. Remember how to do this. So what are we looking at? Unity. Actually, I've already got the code for this. I already have the code. Don't need to look it up. It is in. Is it in score? It's 9 scores. It hit grid. I think it's hit grid. Not hit grid. So let's just save that. Which code did I put in? I think it must be one I've not got loaded yet. Hit grid square. Nope, not that one either. Let's close that. Brick spawner. Tidy coroutine. Oh yeah, that tidies up after the spawner comes through. Score. So that's pulling the values off the squares hit, square counts. This is castle, get component castle. Okay, that grabs all the objects castle as a tag. Don't want to do it as a tag necessarily. For each game object in square, so I think that's the only way I've done it, isn't it? With tags. Yeah, I think I've just tagged everything. Don't want to do it with tags. I want to reference it directly. Okay, might have to Google this one. So I'm trying to Try to write this in such a way that if I want to expand any part of the code or reuse any part of the code for anything else, I'm not having to do a lot of work, if that makes sense. So making it as self-sufficient and universal as possible means I have something there I can use later on. So Unity list child objects. How to get a list of child game objects. Oh, that's it, yeah. Putting the transform. Then grabbing the object of the transforms. So where did I put that? I'm sure I put that in something. It was for the was it in UI controls? It was, no, I was using tags again there, wasn't I? Get component rock launch. No. I'm sure it was there. Or maybe I was looking at it in this. And I just gave up in the end. What am I doing? This is a game I've been working on. So if I minimize this, come out of that, go back to the game. When I play the game, you can see how it runs. So ignore those bricks, because that's what I'm currently working on. Oh, there's a bit of a lag there. So this game is you throw objects at the castle. And in the top left corner you can see how many parts of the castle I've hit and how many parts I need to hit. So I've hit 31 parts of the castle and I need to hit a total of 120 parts. So that barrel's a bit light, isn't it? So when you hit the tree wobbles. But I found a better way of making the tree wobble, which I'll go back to at a later stage. But it wobbles for now. It's fun. And we can change what we're throwing, so we can change it to a crate. Throw a crate instead. Oh, the crate go tumbling over the hedgerow there. I'm wondering which is a better object here. The crate seems pretty decent at throwing at the castle. Not sure if I got that bit just there. Try again there. Oh, we knocked over those bricks. That seems quite a fun thing to do, knock over the bricks. Not the object of the game, but okay, got one more spot to hit. There we go. Finish the level. And we can just hit play again and it resets everything. That's basically what the game is at the moment. But what I would like it to do is when you hit all the 120 spots on the castle, as it falls over. So I'm working out how to make a wall that will fall over. At the moment it's a little bit trickier than I was expecting. But it's not impossible to do. Not impossible. Impossible. The possibilities are there. So we can certainly do this. But what I do need to work out, let's go back to brick holder. No. Prefabs. Brick holder. So at the moment we're working on the brick that we're going to make the wall from. And we need to work out how big the brick is. Now, there's no easy way of looking at that and then telling you how big that brick is. But we do know these squares are 1 meter by 1 meter. It's a pretty big brick, but then it's a pretty big castle. And the thing is, I should be able to make that brick any size I want and still have the code work. That's what I want to aim for. Rather than go, the brick is a bit wrong, I need to change it and then change all the code. I want it to just work. So I can change the brick to anything I want. I can change the size of the brick, change the shape of the brick, and my code will continue to work. That's what I'm aiming for. Now I can't remember where I've used this code before, but this example for each transform child in transform, child is your transform. Same before is that it returns transform of transform and for each loop adding if child does not equal transform will eliminate the transform you're wanting to get from. Change the code to for each transform child and transform and child does not equal transform. Child is your transform. I don't want to have to tag it. So the easy thing is I just tag the brick as a brick. And I just tell it, find the brick. And the code goes, I found the brick. What do you want to do with the brick? Or I could load the brick in as an object. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's just load the brick in as an object. We know what we're working with them. So, to do that, to load the brick in as an object, we need to make a... Let's go back to brick holder. You need to go public game object. Call it brick. And then to find out the information about the brick, this could be brick dot transform dot what is it? It's not scale, is it? Local scale? The scale of the transform relative to the game object's parent. Yes. Dot x. And x equals that. So have you ever done algebra at school and you go, well, algebra doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why would I even need to work out what x is? Well, there it is. There's x. We found where x is. So I could simplify this entire thing from 3 lines into 1 line and just go return brick.transform.localscale.x. But doing it this way allows me to set stuff up. And I can also check the values mid-flow a bit easier. So y, and same for z. Oh, that's a y. Z and Z. And let's remove clear. Unity and Visual Studio like to shout at you if you're doing stuff that's unnecessary. Like, why make the x a 0 if you just could change it immediately afterwards? It's a waste of time. Right, so this should allow us to now get the size of the brick. So we can grab the brick and put it in there. So now because the brick's in there, when we come out of here, and this goes straight to brick holder, the brick is in there. And every time we make a brick holder, it will have the brick. So what we want to do then is load the brick holder in the castle crumble, because even though it says hit square, let's just change that to what's a brick? Let's call it brick. Rather than hit square there, let's change that to brick. So that's now brick as well. Save that. Now go back to Unity. Go back to here, and it would have lost the brick holders. Let's put the brick holder into brick. Right. So now we have that. We can go brick dot get component. Go let's do it this way. Is a brick holder values call it holder values equals brick dot get components brick holder values. Be right back, okie dokie. So what we do now, we've grabbed the code from that, We've grabbed the code, so we can now go holder values dot get X, get Y, get Z. And we can just call that let's go float brick X equals that. Float X Y equals holder values dot get Y, and float brick Z equals holder values dot get Z. So we now have the X, Y and Z of the brick. So now we have that. We can then divide the width by, because the width is, so the width is X. So we want to divide the width by brick X. So let's go back to, let's save that. Go back to Unity. Let's have a look at the brick itself. So the X of the brick is 0.48765, whatever. So we're taking the width. So the width is, what is the width? So the width is 5.2. So we're taking 5.2 divided by 0.48. And we're going to find out how many bricks will fit in 5.2 to give us how many bricks across it will go. Let's make another thing and go float. Now the thing is, width is not a float. Width is a integer. An integer is a whole number. A float is a number that can have a point. So 1.1 is a float. 1 is an integer. Now the width we've made into an integer. So we're probably going to want to do the same with the new width. Now, do I do it here though? Getting the dimensions up here, to me, feels a bit more sensible, because I can put it straight into the width and not change the code down here. So let's do this here. So we are getting the dimensions. This whole function gets dimensions. So we want to get game object transform local scale divided by brick X, sealing it, which means take the upper. So it's, if it's 1.4, we make it 2. If it's 1.1, we make it 2. If it's 1.9, we make it 2. So we're sealing the number to the next whole number. So ideally we then go here, divide it by that, and same for here. do that. So if it is 0.5, so it was 5, if the width was 5 before, and the brick X is 0.5, and you take 5 and divide it by 0.5, that should make it 10, I think. Let's just check my calculations. So 5 divided by 0.5 is 10. So that would generate 10 bricks rather than the original 5 bricks, because the brick is half the width. So that works. That works. So let's go back down to our meaty code here. So it will cycle for 10 rather than 5. Same with the height. So this is where it gets the interesting bit. So you're going to be X plus bottom left X. Plus 0.5. So it's taking the bottom left, moving by 0.5 to give you the center of the original square. So I'm feeling it's a 0.5 we need to change now. Now the X is a whole number. So that's could be a 1, as in it could be a whole thing. So I think it's the X really. So X needs to be divided by the brick X. In which case brick X needs to be a global value so we can access it. Let's do this. Go private float brick X. Private brick Y. Another private. So making it private means it can only be used with inside this function, this bit of code, and it can't be seen by Unity. Because it doesn't need to be seen by Unity, only the code needs to see it. But because we've now made it private and at the top there we can access it down here. So let's put some brackets around the X and divide the X by brick X. And do the same with the Y. Set the Y, divide the Y by brick Y. See how that looks. It might be a complete disaster, but we'll find out. That's the whole fun of this kind of stuff, is to work out how to do it. It's raining bricks. I think we've crashed the game. Okay, the spacing isn't quite working. It's not quite what we're after. So our calculations are completely off. Completely off. So maybe it isn't divide, it's times, isn't it? It's not divide, it's times brick X and times brick Y. Let's try that. Save our project in case we kill it. See, that looks a bit better. Not quite next to each other though. What are we missing here? So scaling is fine before. It might be that. So it might be 0.5 times brick X and 0.5 times brick Y. Put this space in there for readability. Let's save that. Let's give it a run. Still got a gap in there. So how many did it... Let's have a look at these numbers down here. So it decided the width was 11. It's fair enough. Height was 30. Depth was 20. Because it would be working off... Interesting. Yeah, it would be working off the depth of the brick. And 330 total bricks generated. Well, nice bit of ricochet going off there. Swap to the chair. Okay. Well, the cube itself doesn't have a collider. Let's give it a mesh renderer. Let's give it a material as well. So we can actually see the thing. Okay, so it's generated at the back of the cube. Right. But it is generating within the cube space, which is fine. Now, I could offset every other row of the bricks generated. I know they're not next to each other right now. I could make a little offset thing here. I'm back. Welcome back, dealer. Let's make an offset here. So let's make a float offset equals 0 float, and let's go if so x goes across, doesn't it? X, Y. Do I need to swap the loops around? X is going across, so it's doing it in by column. Okay, so I need to swap these around. So go Y. Oops, wrong one. Lowercase y, y, y. That needs to be x, 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 and that needs to be height. That needs to be width. So it actually goes by row and then across. So it's the rows, it's the Y we want to offset. So if Y, so if Y, so if Y is even, let's start off at 0. So if it's 0, it's fine. If it's 1, so odd. So we want to make it odd, really. For every odd row, we want it to be offset. So if Y does not equal ceiling, let's have a look. Where's the ceiling thing? Math f ceiling. Math function dot ceiling, and we take Y, is it Y divided by 2? That's, yeah, so if Y divided by 2 is not the same as the ceiling of Y divided by 2, how did someone trick Sand into doing this? Sand? So what am I doing here? So is this checking if it's even? Sand is basically just pure silicon. Okay. That's true, yeah. So 2 divided by 2, which is 1, is not the same as 2 divided by 2 rounded up to the nearest number. Which makes it odd. Yes, so if it's odd, offset equals 0.5. Else offset equals 0. Pretty sure they refine the sand into pure silicon and then fire at it like lasers until they do quantum physics. Sounds pretty interesting. Y. So the Y here. So we've got an offset in there, 0.5. So we need to do a plus, brackets, offset times brick Y. So what that does is it moves it over by half a brick if the row number is odd. So in theory that should build a brick wall. There's still something to work out with the bricks being botted up to each other, but I'm going to go save as. I want to save. But at least we'd have that in place and it's working out how to get the bricks closer. Let's have a look how it looks. They didn't look very offset to me. What do we miss out on? Probably do making each of these values readable. So you go v3x equals, let's actually declare what it is first, float v3x float v3x float v3y float v3z. At this point here, v3x, let's do that, then grab, put v3x in its place, do that, so we can see that x is actually that value there now. v3y and make y v 3 y equals and then next that v3z okay, so we can see what the values are a bit easy now. So it's taking, so each time it loops around, let's print out to the console. Don't put it in there. There's a debug dot log v3y, so we can print that to the log and see that come through. It might be offsetting it, but by not a lot to even notice it. So let's have a look at them. No, it's not. It's not offsetting it at all, is it? What is it? Oh no, it's tell a lie. So it's 3.919 and then 4.05. That's not really much of an offset. I know why. Nope, didn't want to play it again. I put it on the wrong thing, haven't I? It's not supposed to go there. It's supposed to go in here. And it's brick X. So we're offsetting along the X, not along the Y. Alright, save that. Let's try it again. Because the height of the brick isn't that much. Save that. Right. Let's have a look. Still not offset by much. Let's have a look. What's the offset looking at? Point 0.14. That's not really much of a an offset. Compare it to an actual brick. Let's have a look at the brick. Prefabs brick. So it's 0.487. Let's get the calculator out. Let's drop it into there. Invalid input. Okay, let's drop it into a text file and grab so many digits. Oh, because it's copying it as a whole vector. So that's quite useful, but I only wanted the X value. Someone on GitHub made wine for Android. That's quite impressive. It can run video games. I suppose as long as the Android device has enough power behind it to actually run Wine and the game. Because I know you can get Wine for Linux, which is basically what Android is. Because that's how you can run a lot of Windows programs on Linux. That's what it is. They probably have to compiled it from scratch to specifically look at the Android libraries. That's impressive still. Right, so 0.2438. So that's the value I should be seeing when it divides. Let's throw that down there. So let's make sure it outputs that value there. So actually I can work it up over here, can't I? So offset brick X, and then we just put offset in there. We don't need the whole calculation going on. So can we then print off what the offset is. We'll hide that one for the moment. We'll have to look into that. I say it depends on the power requirements of an Android device to run the Wine. Evening, Ho Junkie Chat, how you all? Hey Max, how's it going, dude? Hope you've been keeping well. Alright, let's have a look how this looks now. Oops, didn't mean to full screen that. Interesting, the offset doesn't change. Maybe my calculations are wrong on that then. Why has this gone full screen? There we go. Good, thanks buddy. Did you stream Friday? I did not. I decided to take a rest day. Yeah, it was all the DJ and stuff on Friday, and I just got home and I was just so tired. But I was I'm not sure if it was. It might have been a mixture of things. It might have been tiredness. It might have been because I've been soldering, trying to solder some stuff at work, and so like the focus and the inhalation of solder fumes probably didn't help either. So I needed to lie down. So yeah, it didn't go as planned Friday. So that's why we're doing game dev today. Plus, as you know, Jeffrey and Lisa are in the middle of that house move. Guys, I forgot to upload the tunes from the playlist download lockdown. Yeah, I might do it next Friday. Next Friday. Well, this coming Friday I can't because I will be at download. But the Friday after that, I could even do like a post download lockdown. playing some of the best songs from the best bands I saw. Plus requests, of course. Yeah, this calculation here is not doing what I thought it would do. So we're taking the y. So if y so what's the easiest way to work out something? There might even be something in C# that I'm not even considering. Let's go C#, even or odd. A PDL, aka post download lockdown, sounds a great idea. Does indeed. Then we could use like a link queue. So x is equal to or greater than x divided by 2 . Oh. My link queue knowledge is a little bit rusty. Gives me enough time to go play this sorted out. Awesome. Can I remember that percent? The percent key. What is the percent key? Is that so C#, link queue. Where's the percent gone on this keyboard? Oh, there it is. Language integrated queries, link queue. Been a while since I've used link queues. It's a good thing about programming stuff in Unity, because it gets me to use my qualifications in C# programming languages. That tells me bugger all. Or is it remainder? If number divided by 2 has no remainder, it is even. That makes sense? Yeah, that's it. So number divided by 2 has no remainder. So that's what the percent is. So you might know with computers the slash key is divide. However, using the percent key in programming means divide it, but only return the remainder, not the whole number. So 3 divided by 2 would normally give you 1.5. But 3% by 2 will give you 0.5, because you only want the remainder. So that's what I'm after then. So let's remove this here. So y percent 2 is equal to 0. Or we can go not equal to 0. It means it's odd, and then we need to make an offset. So save that. Okay, let's have a look at this then. That looks a bit more like it. It's kind of like a brick wall. I might have to tell it has no gravity, because that falls a bit too quick for me to actually look at it. Let's go to the... Is it the rigid body mass is 0. Let's make its mass 0. Oops. Okay, mass can't be 0. 0.01. So it just float. It shall float. Let's give it a drag of 1 as well. Not quite. Not quite. Drag 100. Let's do that. There we go. So they are in the right kind of formation, which is good. But this does allow us to see the spacing between the bricks is in fact a whole brick. Let's move this close towards the camera. Yeah, that appears to be an entire brick width apart from each other. Okay, with that knowledge then, So instinct says I want to make it a quarter offset, but that doesn't make sense. It should be a half of the width of the brick. That's the whole point. So where are we going wrong with this? So it is half the brick, because that is the exact number I calculated as being half the brick. Now are the bricks half the size? The bricks might actually be half the size they need to be. Yeah, those bricks seem to be bigger. I think they're half the size, which is why half the brick width is entirely a brick's width in this case. So why are the brick scales? Ah, because we're doing it by that now. Ah, okay, right, okay. Right, I need to think. Because I thought I'd be clever and go width in here. It's not. Width is the wrong thing. It's the wrong thing. It needs to be something in here. Maybe not in here though. Maybe it doesn't need to be in here. But this calculation still needs to. Yeah, it's gonna have to be in here. It's gonna have to be in here. Quick question: what is liquid DMB? So liquid DMB, it's not punchy. Like regular DMB is quite punchy. Like you hear the drums being hit, and it's very much like a snappy sound. Liquid DMB doesn't have the snappy sound. It's like sort of, it's more kind of like a light, sort of smooth sound. Does that make sense? Like a more of a liquid sound. But if you Google like liquid DMB on YouTube, and you can hear it's not quite as snappy. Like sort of, and the bass is probably a bit more smoother as well. Like it kind of glides through the bass rather than like a harsh sound. So yeah, liquid DMB isn't as harsh as regular DMB. So liquid is what you can kind of put onto to chill to. Whereas regular DMB is what you get up and bounce around to. It's more chill than normal DMB. Yeah. That's basically all it is. So yeah, so you can stick on a bit of liquid DMB and just kick back. You can still be quite motivating, but it's not. It doesn't have the high energy to it. So yeah, so width, height, depth. So how am I using the width, height, depth before? That was for scaling. So 1 divided by... thanks for that, buddy. I was having a conversation with a friend today. Oh, cool. Listening to Deftones while trying to get Fallout New Vegas running on my cellular. Ooh, nice. Not listened to Deftones for a long time. So we're going to need to use width. It's going to have to be its own thing. So let's do this. They're using two different ways here. So it should really be count X count Y count Z and do it that way instead. Yeah, got to put them up here. Manually enter them in there. So private count X float. No, it's an int, isn't it? Oh, there's float. Go float. Makes calculating easier. If you try and calculate a number with a float and an integer, it tends to be a bit iffy. Doesn't like converting one to the other. Even though to us adding 1 to 1.1 is 2.1 and that's easy. To a computer it goes, well, I can't add 1.1 to 1 because 1 is a whole number, 1.1 is a decimal number, and they are calculated in two different ways. White Pony is my favourite Deftones album, and Change in House of Flies is my favourite song of that album. Oh, nice. I might have to put that on and have a listen. So scale. So the width is fine. So rather than using height, it's actually count Y. Rather than using the width, it is count X. Which makes more sense in this context here. Fire! Is my DJ set finished? Let's play another one. That was the last breakout I recorded, apparently. It's nearly been a year since I recorded the last breakout. I say nearly 2 months away. August last year was the last breakout DJ session I recorded. My last DJ session I recorded full stop was in October last year. It's been a while since I've DJ'd. It's been good. I've enjoyed having the time off away from DJing because it got a little bit stale. And so I wanted to be fresh for you guys. You don't want to hear the same DJ sets over and over. Wow, White Pony is 24 years old. It was released in 2000. Oh wow. Let's go for that one there. Right, make sure that's all saved. That's saved. Cool, cool. Right. Will this work now? Aha! Look at that. Look at that. We have a brick wall. Still needs a little adjustment because those bricks certainly have a slight gap between them. Oh, the amount of work to put in to get the code. Just make a game, make a brick wall. So let's go back to the brick now, and then let's give it a drag of 10. Whee! Look at that. Well, that's fun. I like how it slowly just kind of sinks into each other. So the weight underneath goes, nope, can't hold it. So why is there a gap between the bricks? Let's change the drag to 7. We want it to fall a little bit quicker. Whoosh. And playing around with Unity's physics. Okay, let's give it a bit more mass. Let's go 0.1. because the bricks have to fall into each other, which suggests there's a gap between the bricks as well. So why are we getting gaps between the bricks? Oh, barely hear it. Let's turn the music up a bit then. How's that? Bit louder? Awesome. Yeah, because I don't want to be drowned out by the music, but it's nice to have it in the background. Right, so why are the bricks not quite big? Do we need to... Do we need to artificially make them bigger? I feel this is the wrong way of doing it, because there's a reason why the bricks are sitting at the right size. It might be the... it could be the rounding, because the width, the height and the depth are rounded up, so it's a higher number. Maybe they don't need to be rounded up. Maybe they don't need to be rounded up. Maybe they need to be exact. Maybe they need to be exact. They don't need to ceiling them. So only to ceiling these because they're used for looping. That might be what it is. That's a hunch. It's a hunch, but let's take away the ceilings. It's a weird thing to say. As I said, ceiling, when you're ceiling a number in this, you're basically saying round it up to the next whole number. So say like 1.1, the ceiling of 1.1 is 2. Right, let's try that. It might just be that. It might just be that that's doing it. Save the whole project in case it explodes. There we go. It was. Oh, that's satisfying. I don't know about you, but that's satisfying to see. Let's play that again. Probably doesn't help it's generating it off the ground. Because that's not generating on... Oh, the cube is not on the ground. So that's probably not helping either. I need to make sure the cube is on the ground, and then the bricks will generate on the ground. Although, the whole point of this is that the bricks fall down. If they don't fall down, then I've got another problem in my hands. But I don't want it to feel like the house is being dropped. It's fun seeing how the physics work. Imagine speed running Super Mario 64 and a solar flare hitting your console just at the right angle to change it from 1 to 0 and skip an hour of the game. That'd be very fortunate for the solar flare to do that and not actually fry the whole console. But hey, it was like a bug in the running, maybe like a sort of there's a bit of a bad soldering on that particular thing that just happened to jump at that point in the memory. Memory location changed from a 1 to a 0. Oh yeah, excuse me. Right, so let's see if we can get this cube sat on the ground. No, not the scale, it is that one. So in theory that should be half of that. Is there a snap? I know there's a snap somewhere. There it is. Grid snapping. Why? Cool. Oh, because the ground isn't snapped to grid, it can't snap that. We don't want it snapping to the grid then, we want it snapping to objects. Toggle visibility of the grid, yes. It's useful seeing. What's that one? Snap increment. That looks like it's on the ground. Awesome, we'll do that. Save that. So it still seems like there's a slight gap between the objects. Let's scale that, see if we can see the scaling working. So in theory it should then create a brick wall the same size as this. It did. Awesome. The bricks probably need to be slightly bigger though. There's a lot of bricks being generated there. Especially the bricks on the actual castle. Probably about twice the size, if not 4 times the size of these ones. Right, so, in which case then, let's double these dimensions up. Probably about that. Run that, see how that looks. Oh, it's definitely more stable. Oh, oh, I like that. Let's rerun that. So they still kind of settle. Now visually I don't want them to settle really. I want them to just be there and then fall over. So the fact they settle suggests that they're not sitting. Oh, that's quite satisfying to see the wall just falling over like that. Let's move this cube closer to the player so I can actually see, hopefully see what's happening in the bricks. It might just be their wide placement is slightly off the ground. Yeah, I didn't consider that the tree would be in the way. Let's do that. Give it its credit, despite being whacked by a tree, it held up for a little bit there. There he goes. Let's move it away. Is it the bard? Where's the bard? Bard's in the tree, that's the problem. There must be a very slight gap. Sorry later, that's no problem. How's it going, Lisa? Good to see you. They sell emotes. We've had no one selling emotes today. You're the first one. Clearly, sort of my my regular emote selling slot is not the same. Doing okay. Jeffrey's very sick. Oh no, sorry to hear that. Is he been working too hard? I'm glad to hear you're doing okay though. I think some more emotes could help with that, yes. I think it's scared off the emote sellers. Maybe. I think I would certainly be scared trying to sell emotes with you in the chat. He feels like he's having COVID again. Oh no. Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully it's going to be a temporary cold that passes. Ooh. I'm very happy. I'm going to just be playing with this little bit of code for ages. Now, we have a look at the bricks themselves then. It's one thing I've not actually done yet, is actually look at the bricks. When you're sick, do you prefer your tea steaming hot or slightly above room temperature? Ooh. I usually try and go for a steaming hot tea. Just to kind of kill anything that's in my throat. And I usually like my tea to be kind of above room temperature otherwise. Let's just note these numbers down. So minus 0.47222, and the next row is 0.41666. There's a minus in there as well. So that's a difference of about 0.06. 0.0. Need to work out what the difference, because that's the settled difference. Good, thanks, Lisa. Rex, having a nice chilled evening. Planned my holiday for August as I'm thinking of going to Gamescom. Ooh, that's exciting, Max. Yeah, I'd love to go to Gamescom at some point. Probably not this year. Definitely not this year, but soon. Right, let's note this next measurement down. 0.36111. And let's go for a fourth reference. There's 0.30555. So I can look at those numbers and look at what the difference is. Let's get the calculator. Where's the calculator? So minus 0.47222 minus 0.41666 is exactly 0.88888. Interesting. My acoustic cat meowed at the door for 5 minutes, got in and left after 30 seconds. I asked cat for you. So I want to be in. I want to be in. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Yeah. Wasn't as good as I expected. I'm going back out. I think a lot of the times cats just like to have the option to either be in or out. They don't necessarily want to be in or out. They just want to know the options there. Like my cat will go out and then you close the door and you will come back in. But you open the door, it's like, well, I don't actually want to come back in. I just wanted the door open so I know I can come back in. I'm in two minds. Do I camp or hotel it? The Gamescom camp is a mini festival in its own right. Ooh, that's exciting. See, that's the one thing I love about festivals generally, is that if I can camp, you've got the whole fun of the camping side of it, as well as the attractions. That's why I don't think I could ever go to a hotel for download. I'd want the experience, cause it's two experiences. You've got the experience of the bands, but then the experience of camping at a festival. Minus 0.41666 minus 0.36111. So that's minus all the sevens. So minus 0.36111 minus 0.30555. All the sixes. She wanted to be let outside. Ah. Yeah, my cat always wants to be left outside. Oh, thank you, Max. You'll see that in Discord. Camping setup for Gamescom. I might have to put these into an Excel spreadsheet. Before I actually stop, let's get a rock. So we blast holes in this wall. Right, stop the game there. Okay. So let's go back to the brick and give it a drag of 100 again. So this means it should float. So that is still where it would be. That's still where it would be. Okay, so it doesn't appear to move then. So they are take that drag back off again. It doesn't. It does. Why does it sit? Why does it come down and sit? Unless the movement is that minuscule, but over. I don't know, it's something I have to work out off stream, I think. Because I could probably generate the bricks, have them invisible when I generate them, make them visible, then have them fall over. We have to have a think of how it's actually doing this. But I am generating a brick wall. There's some interesting quirks about it, but add a barbell as projectile. I can definitely do that indeed. I can probably make one very quickly. Let's sit down here. Let's go create 3D object. It's going to be a cylinder. Start with a cylinder. We want to rotate the cylinder. This will be 90 degrees. Let's correct it there. Scale it. Let's make it a bit longer. Be silly, easy model as well. Yeah. So we have that. Let's create a sphere. It looks amazing. It's right on the banks of the Rhine river that runs through Cologne. Ooh. That's pretty cool. Let's scale down this going for the classic cartoon barbell. This is always kind of the circular, spherical. I know realistically they're the weights you take on and off. Let's go to materials. Right, I'm off. Gonna head off now. Have an awesome time at Download Buddy, and I'll see you next time. Okie dokie. Thank you for dropping in, Max. I'll definitely be posting in Discord how download is going. But yeah, next stream will be possibly next Monday, so I might see you then. That looks like the impossible dumbbell one guy designed. It's quite hard to lift off, as the name implies. Ah. Let's make that a bit bigger on that side. Make the cylinder a little bit longer. CSER indeed. Let's duplicate that. Let's make the cylinder a little bit something along those lines. We need to put it all inside a container. Probably turn that into make a material for that. Oh, we can keep it white, I suppose. Let's create an empty. Call this barbell. Let's go to prefabs. Drop that in there. It's a prefab. Delete. Bring back in. Move that into there as a rock. Let's rename that. Rock underscore barbell. No, I don't want to duplicate that. Rename it so it's capital B in barbell. Let's give it the tag of the rock. And it needs to have a mesh filter, mesh renderer. Mesh renderer. Mesh collider. Probably even need the mesh renderer actually, because it might do, I don't know. I think it's the first object that's made up of multiple objects, so this could be interesting. Doesn't have the mesh collider activated. Get rid of the capsule colliders because we don't need the colliders on the objects themselves. Hey Nix, thank you for the hats. I hope you're having a good Monday. Let's remove all the colliders from those objects because they don't need to have collisions on. So that's going to be interesting. Finally finished my task, so I am chilling with a bit of Stardew. Awesome. Well done. Now my code relies on this object being fully formed before it's in the engine. Because if I turn that on and off, it doesn't make any difference. How do I get it to reflect all of the mesh renderers? Can I remove that component? No, because it's going to need the... did not want to do that. Undo. Revert, that's what we want to do. Yeah, apply to barbell. Prefab, same with this one. Apply to prefab. Apply to prefab, right. This, how do we give that the full mesh control? That's something entirely I need to work out. You've given me a quandary, dealer, but something I definitely want to work out because it could be useful. For now, though, I shall hide all of the barbell, and it'll be something to get working, and there'll be another hurdle for me to check out. But Nix, if you're still watching, check this out. Why doesn't that work then? Have I broken that now? Let's take the rock barbell, let's untag it, because I might have broken the code. There we go, yeah. So we'll come back to the barbell next time. Trees having a bit of a fun time there. But yeah, the easiest thing to do would be to create the barbell in Blender and bring it as a finished object, and then my code will just work with it as a whole object and not a series of child objects. But it'd be worth working out how to handle a parent object as a singular object. So I suppose I've got the back wall of this sort of a cuboid generated as a wall, and I need to generate the two sides on the front. Now if I can do that, then place it over the castle and get it to execute the code on level completion, and then draw the bricks down on themselves. Whee, down he goes. But we've made progress. So next time I'll look at generating the other 3 sides. Now the interesting thing with that, even when I've generated the other 3 sides, is I'd have to do so layer by layer, like row by row, and actually build it like an actual building. Because I can't build one wall and then build the next wall next to it, because the bricks need to interlock. So that'll be interesting. But I can work that out as well. I didn't set out making this with the intention of procedurally generating a house brick by brick. But it's certainly fun. But yeah, we can have a look at that next time. Let's say this Wednesday, this Friday, no stream. Monday might be a stream. But then Friday and the Saturday, the Wednesday and the Friday next week should be back to usual streams. But yeah, I think I'll probably wrap it up now. Yay, all the dinosaurs. Let's swap over to the other screen. Boom. Yeah, I'm quite tired, so I'm going to have a lie down, I think. We did good today. We procedurally generated a brick wall, which on the surface of it doesn't seem like a great achievement, but the calculations involved trying to generate a brick wall, brick by brick. But we'll get our whole house. Jeffrey wishes you a good night. Well, good night, Jeffrey. Hope you're feeling well soon. So it's not nice. Not nice to be feeling ill. But thank you for streaming. Thank you for joining us. I say next stream will quite likely. He says thank you. Awesome. Yeah, quite likely next stream will be next Monday. So nothing Wednesday, nothing Friday, as I'll be in a field, drinking, listening to heavy music. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Gila. Thank you for suggestions. Thank you, Max. Thank you, anyone else who's been lurking, chatting, watching. You're all awesome. I'm going to have a lie down. Have fun at download. I will. And I'll be keeping you all updated in my Discord. Yes, send pics. There will be pics in Discord. So keep an eye on that. I think it will be in the Festivals and Conventions channel. So make sure you pop in there and have a look. But yeah, I shall see you next week. Hope you have a fun week. Have a good night. And I shall see you next week. Have a good night all. I'll see you then. Good night.